I've also got Ozzie Jurock on the line right now. It's so much to talk about with Ozzie. Hey, by the way, I think, is it next weekend? No, the 24th, I think you've got your Outlook for 2017 conference.
Yeah, imagine our 24th year. We got 12 speakers. We got a U.S. speaker, U.S. financing experts. All the listings we've been talking about, Phoenix, and we got a couple more today, will be on display. But particularly, we'll talk about what will the new tax effect will be. Will we crash in sales, or will we actually turn the corner, as we seem to have in one of the buildings in Vancouver right now? The Cadero almost sold out on a pre-sale basis at $1,800 a foot. Can you imagine? So some people are not as worried about the tax. So all of these things are debated, and you're going to walk away with 100 properties under 100,000 in BC and 100 properties under 100,000 in US, which we think are going to be buys. So it's going to be a really exciting day.
So that's coming up on the 24th, though. I want to make sure I got that date right, because I knew there's tons of speakers, everything happening at the Real Estate Outlook for you at 2017. Looking forward, but that's the 24th. And I suppose they can just go to Jurock.com for tickets, Ozzie?
Yeah, and we got a special price. It's $2 for $97 today. If you go to Jurock.com, Jurock.com, or call us at 683-1111.
Well, as you said, one of the things you're going to be talking about is the impact of the taxes. And I'd had several questions already saying, do we have any idea how much the foreign buyers tax, that new 15% tax, had impacted, government revenues? And I had a heck of a time trying to find anything on it.
Yeah, well, it's really tricky because the province didn't start tracking foreign residential real estate buyers until June 12th. And it still doesn't track any foreign commercial or farmland buyers and so on. But if you look at the figures of foreign buyers in the first 5 weeks of tracking the foreign buyers, and particularly take a period between June 10 and July 14, foreign buyers spent about $1 billion residential real estate in BC. The tax didn't kick in until August 2. So, and this is a long shot guess, Mike, but if the same pace continued at about 200 per week, the province could bring about $1.6 billion annually under the tax. But remember, they also pay the existing property purchase tax, which is 3% on homes over $2 million, 1% on the first 200, and 2% on the portions in between. So let's make it easy on me. Let's take the average at 2% overall. Then there'll be another 31 million a year. So the province could be collecting somewhere between 1.6 billion and maybe even as much as 2 billion a year. But of course, we don't really know because sales have plummeted after the tax was introduced. And really, nobody has any specific ideas, but that's how much it could be.
Of course, one of the aspects of that, and it actually alludes to my editorial up front, is people have to understand that you always look at whatever policies put in place, what will it do to capital? Will it encourage it or discourage it? Again, I can't believe how dense people who think politics first are about that kind of stuff. It's a very simple thing. We do it ourselves in our personal lives. Somebody puts something on sale, we travel over there with our money, and it's vice versa. So one of the big things, Ozzie, that people have been talking about is what's the fallout in other markets? And I was thinking about Calgary and Edmonton. Maybe the fact that we're throwing on a foreign buyers tax here may encourage some capital to go over there. So I'm just wondering what's the latest there.
Well, also we should remember that foreign capital is smart money. These people don't have $3 million to invest because they're stupid. So they also know what the world is like, say, in Calgary and Edmonton. And right now, Mike, it's heading to Toronto in a major way. Toronto has had an all-time record ever in August. In fact, selling more houses in Toronto than anywhere else all over Canada together. And the values are up, the biggest sales are up. But, looking at Calgary and Edmonton, the resale condo market isn't really that bad. I mean, Edmonton has some 2,600 sales from 6,300 listings this year. Calgary had some 1,700 sales from 4,500 listings. But the real estate board in Calgary says that they're at the lowest level the sales are since 2003. Price is about $252 in Edmonton on average for condo. In Calgary, it's about $370. And those prices are down about 7% in Calgary, but really only about 1% in Edmonton. So where the big thing is going to happen is the unsold inventory. There's some 526 open in Calgary and so on. So there's at least a 6-month supply. And we are now seeing that residential sales have been falling for 21 straight months in Calgary. It's going to get a little worse before it gets better, and the foreign buyer probably knows that as well. But I think we love Calgary and Edmonton. And we will advise you to go back with some stink bits, but not yet.
Yeah. Okay, you're waiting for some timing on that. So the volume, I just want to get straight. Not the volume. The supply is still there. You got at least a 6-month supply. Then you're saying of apartments on market in Edmonton or Calgary. So obviously you're going to see developers scrambling. Maybe get a deal on a pre-sale on that stuff.
Absolutely, and you're right. And that's where the pain is, because, the developer's committed. He's in the ground. He's got the financing range. And if the sales don't come, there's a problem. So, yes, that's what exactly we're telling our subscribers. Go in with a stink bit. They'll still look at you. They won't smile, but you might get the deal of a lifetime. Yeah,
especially if it's a cash offer, or a no subject. And because That's what they'll be interested in, is getting the money, not having some sort of subject thing. So maybe a good thing. Hey, we got time for a couple of hot properties?
Yeah, we got a lot of inquiries last week about the properties we had in Paradise in a small area in Surprise. Actually, Surprise is a suburb of Phoenix. So 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom.
So you're looking in the Phoenix area is what we're saying here.
Yeah, in the Phoenix area. A really great area because wide boulevards and so on. But a nice 1,100 square foot single family home. It doesn't have a pool, but it's only $165,000. And then a 3,300 square foot home with a pool, totally renovated. Should see the pictures. It's amazing. On at $319,000. So for the price of a front door, you can buy some real fine real estate.
You're just teasing me every time you do this, but I can satiate my appetite every weekend by going to Jurock.com and looking at the hot property button. In the meantime, Ozzie, hey people, you can just go to Jurock.com also and get your tickets for the September 24th Outlook 2017 conference, September 24th coming up, or go to 604-683-1111. You can see Ozzie there, and apparently they will sell out again, but Ozzie will be wearing lederhosen sometime in that afternoon, so it's going to be a fabulous event.
Yeah,
the legs are worth the price of admission.
I will. Just for you, I will.
There you go. Ozzie, have a great weekend. Thanks.